Okay, but before I get into the facts, I want to mention one thing that we haven't mentioned, and I think that a lot of us sort of forget about because we're just used to Christmas and Thanksgiving, fall and winter being something that's like a cold season. We think of it as like, sweaters and fireplaces. And it's interesting because there are a lot of countries in Latin America that are in the dead of summer on Christmas. All of the countries in the southern hemisphere, like Argentina, parts of Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay.
I never even thought about that.
Yes.
Look at you. The more you know.
Ecuador, parts of Peru.
Jam is a jam, jam is a jam, jangle your jams, jangle is a jam, jam, jam.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And another thing that's also very different between our American and Latin counterparts is that, like your mom mentioned, January 6th, some countries recognize Santa Claus the way we do. They just call him Papa Noel. But a lot of countries don't have like Santa Claus as a figure in their holiday traditions, which is why they'll gift exchange on the 6th.
Ah. Learning so much.
Yeah. Santa Claus is not a religious figure.
There's also some that are like scary, like Belschnickel. That are like,
exactly. Well, that's
like
a whole other
wax,
culture. Yeah. I don't know
like
anything about that.
Wax you with a stick and shit. That's who I'm going to be moving on. That's what everyone deserves.
Oh,
cold
my
and
God.
stick wax from Belschnickel.
Okay, so some of the first, this is obviously not an exhaustive list. This is just some that I've gathered that I found to be really interesting. So some of the first holiday celebrations actually began as early as November 24th, which happens to coincide with American Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And it's an occasion in Nicaragua called La Purísima. Mm-hmm. And it's like a 9-day period of prayer that essentially in the Catholic tradition celebrates the preparation or the days leading up to the Immaculate Conception of Mary, or the Virgin Mary's Immaculate Conception.
Okay.
So after La Purísima, there is on December 8th this other celebration called La Gritería, which is like this huge, basically, celebration of fire and food. And there's this call and response that like everybody takes part in. That's like, ¿Qué causa tanta alegría? And people reply, La Concepción de María, or what brings so much joy? And people shout back, Virgin Mary's conception.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because they're singing in the streets and people visit each other's altars and they give gifts and they share sweets. And certain cities like León will build like these big, they build like this big doll called La Gigantona that goes around the streets. And it's like this big festival celebrating.
I love that.
I know, celebrating the conception of baby Jesus. There's another festival sort of similar in Colombia called Las Velitas, which takes place the Immaculate Conception Eve, I guess, on December 7th.
So much non-sex being celebrated.
And it's really cool because they use light as a way to symbolize like the Immaculate Conception. So people will put candles and paper lanterns on their windowsills, their balconies, their porches, all over the streets. Yeah. Cities will take place on like big light displays. And in some parts of like the Caribbean part of Colombia, they'll, party from December 7th until December 8th, and that'll be when they light the candles like right before they go to bed. And it's like another holiday, another reason to drink and eat and spend time with your loved ones.
I love that.
I love it too. And people even will walk along like the Cali River, which they light up with a bunch of different displays. Las velitas.
I love that.
A little day of the little candles. Isn't that so cute?
It is. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But it looks so beautiful too.
I bet it does look beautiful. I bet it does. Well, from what I did see, it did look beautiful. Okay, so next up, chronologically, in Mexico, specifically, Día de la Virgen de Guadalupe, or Day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, is celebrated. And this is actually super cool because it has some folklore behind it. So it's believed that in 1531, there was this indigenous boy, Juan Diego, who the Virgin Mary revealed himself to and said, you must build a giant church right where you're standing. And about 100 years later, this church was built, and it is actually the Basilica of Guadalupe, which is one of the largest Christian pilgrimages in the world. That's, in Mexico City today, was built, and that is why that church exists there. And Juan Diego later on in 2002 was canonized and recognized as a saint. And it is said, supposedly, that still they house this cloak that he was wearing, that apparently when the Virgin Mary appeared to him, the image of her was burned onto the cloak as proof that he had actually seen her. So the story is told like this.
So what if the cloak, what if that meant that the conception wasn't so immaculate after all?
Well, that's not what that meant. This was 1531. And actually, Juan Diego is the first indigenous person from the Americas to become a saint.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now we got Celia Cruz on coins.
Oh my gosh.
Look at us. This is so cool. I didn't know a lot of these things.
Me neither. And
Okay.
and I love learning about this.
Thank you. Continue.
Okay. All right. So also in Mexico and in other parts of the world, of course, and if I don't mention your country, please forgive me. It's there's actually not enough literature about these traditions that take place on the internet, I don't feel. So there's another festival that takes place between the 16th to the 24th of December.
Okay.
And it's called Las Posadas.
Ooh.
And this is in Mexico as well. And it's a religious festival. Las Posadas translates to the inn or the lodgings. And it's basically celebrating the journey that Joseph and Mary did from Nazareth to Bethlehem, searching for a place to give birth to baby Jesus. And in their 12-day journey, the 12 days of Christmas, in their 12-day journey, they were consistently denied until eventually Mary gave birth to baby Jesus in a stable in Bethlehem. So
What did they do with the partridge in a pear tree? Let me tell you something. I feel so bad for these people because they get celebrated every year by so many people, and they're not here to enjoy it.
You're absolutely right.
I'm so sorry, Jesus and Mary.
So what happens in Mexico is that these Las Posadas, these like parades, these processionals essentially take place, usually led by a child dressed as an angel. And it's mostly children, but adults join in, musicians and people join in. And they're singing songs and they're stopping at these selected houses and asking to be, asking for lodging. And they're traditionally told no, they're denied. And they'll say prayers and, they'll be denied lodging, but like, oftentimes provided refreshments by the people.
But like they're reenacting it.
They're reenacting it.
They actually need a place to
No,
stay.
they do not.
I'm like, this is a terrible. I'm like,
No,
this is my least favorite.
No.
You tell the orphans that they
No,
can't
this is
stay
a
with
parade.
you.
No. They're like children dressed in gold and silver robes. Like going from
Okay, got it.
place to place.
I was about to say, I do not.
No, there's a
subscribe.
great ending to it.
Okay, great.
So this happens every night, and every night, usually after the processional, there is a mass that's held, and at the end of it, guess what happens?
They throw the children in a river, according to this story.
No, they don't. They don't throw the children in the river. The children then break star-shaped piñatas, traditional Mexican star-shaped piñatas, because those symbolize the star that the three kings followed to reach baby Jesus. And it's filled with candy and sweets and
No,
all
it's
good
filled
stuff.
with razors and knives.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, the story starts with there are these orphan children that are going from house to house dressed like angels getting denied lodging. What is this?
That's not what I said. And this is a very serious religious tradition.
Okay, I'm sorry. No. Listen, I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just an asshole. I'm so sorry.
But don't you think the piñata part is sweet?
No, I love all of these things. First of all, again, I love anything that brings people together.
Say their prayers and they come together in community.
It involves music. It involves dressing up, which I love.
Yes.
Piñatas. Who doesn't love a good piñata?
Food.
Refreshments.
And a cute little kid dressed as an angel leading the whole thing.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Okay.
Sign me up.
There you go.
I'm so sorry.
Las Posadas.
Las Posadas.
December 16th through the 24th.
All right. Wow, it's a long parade.
Yeah. So the 24th, we know.
Nochebuena. La
Nochebuena. Yeah. Nochebuena or Christmas Eve, which is, I think, I think it's safe to say that in Latin countries, it's really Christmas, even though we call it Nochebuena. We do celebrate Christmas Day. A lot of people will go to mass, and that tends to be a day of like relaxation, or like I think it's more of like a toned down getting together.
Right.
But Nochebuena is the day that you party and you eat and you have the feast, whereas like Americans traditionally might feast on Christmas Day. We do that Christmas Eve.
I feel like I know a lot of families that will open even all of their gifts on Nochebuena.
A lot of people do exchange gifts on Nochebuena. A lot of most Latin American countries that celebrate Christmas will give exchange the gifts on Christmas Eve. And it's not just, obviously we don't just eat lechon. That's us as Cubans, but other countries, I mean, we'll have a bunch of other traditional meals like tamales.
Of course. At least my experience growing up, there were a lot of us that gathered. And I love the fact that also as like children of immigrants, but who are also share American culture, we can kind of enjoy both. And
yeah, for sure.
I love the fact that you have all these days off. Why not? See your family again. See different parts of the family. Spend time with people that you don't usually see.
Yeah, for sure.
I
love that. Yeah. I think that I feel like we get so possessive over our family members on the holidays. We'll be like, no, you have to spend it with me. And I actually think it would be nice if like we took trips to spend it with like extended family members. Yeah. And I'd love to go see my godmother in North Carolina and spend like a holiday with her and her family.
Yeah. She's listening to this like, oh shit. Make up the guest bedroom. Hurry up. Make the guest bedroom up. Okay, continue on your journey here.
Okay, so of course on Christmas Day, Navidad, that's people go to church and celebrate religious services, but it really is more like a relaxing family day.
I have one for Christmas Day for you that I learned about.
Tell me.
It's called Las Patinatas.
Patinatas or patinetas?
No, it's called Las Patinatas because in Venezuela.
What does that mean?
So I'm going to tell you. In Venezuela, and unfortunately there's a lot of political unrest there now, so I read this amazing article about how it hasn't been able to continue this tradition, and a lot of people miss it because it's something that's so representative of their culture specifically, which is beautiful and really sad because I hope that there's a time when they can do it again and feel safe. But according to their tradition, a lot of kids, the gifts that they would want and receive on this day would be like bikes or rollerblades or things of this nature. And
like things with wheels?
Right, things with wheels. And also something that everybody always did was go to Christmas mass, like a lot of other people do as well. Yeah. So they would make it like a mass thing where they would even close the streets to have everybody ride their new toys or ride their skateboards or rollerblades or whatever to mass.
Wow.
So you could like have fun and enjoy it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway, so we should, like skating and these things, you learn about all these amazing things. Like, why can't we have a piñata on Christmas?
We absolutely
And then
can.
Educate your family about, hey, look, this is something that they do.
Well, it's not on Christmas, but yeah.
And then I'll be like, hey, I'm denying you lodging. Get the fuck out. Anyway.
It's Christmas Eve, really.
What happens after Christmas?
Okay, so after Christmas, you're going to... This might be your actual favorite one.
Oh.
So this is not something that takes place everywhere, but it does take place across several countries in Latin America and in Spain. And it's called El Día de los Santos Inocentes, or the Day of the Innocent Saints. And it's commemorating, there's no historical recollection of this, it's only in the Bible. The story is that King Herod found out that there was a prophecy for a new child that would be born, become king, Christ child. And he ordered every male under 2 years old to be executed.
Oh.
And they were actually considered to be the first Christian martyrs.
What is wrong with you?
Hold on.
You're going to really like this one. Everybody under 2 dead.
No,
Are you
this is
good?
not the part that you're going to like.
Okay.
So now the way that they commemorate and like pay tribute to these children is that December 28th is like Latin American April Fool's Day. So it's basically a day where people just play like tricks and pranks on each other.
And dance on the graves of these martyred children.
There's no... I thought you would like the prank day. It's like April Fool's Day and Christmas time. December 28th.
Okay, yeah, well, you know what? April Fool's Day and Christmas. I'm down.
Okay, there you go. You like it now?
Yeah, you know, these biblical times and all these, you know, people be rough.
Okay, hello. And, you know, all over the place, all over the world mostly, we celebrate Fin de Año, December 31st, New Year's Eve. Okay, so this is interesting because we all, I feel like, tend to celebrate globally in a very similar way. We have parties, we have food, we have drinking, we have fireworks.
I don't like New Year's.
You don't like New Year's?
Every year that New Year's passes, it just reminds me that I'm
old?
closer to death. Wow. And it gives me this weird nostalgic feeling, but a bad nostalgic, and the countdown makes me nervous.
Wow.
And I feel like there's pressure.
Oh, I actually love New Year's. It gives me a sense of renewal.
Okay. I like New Year's Day.
I don't like New Year's Day. See, New Year's Day stresses me out. New Year's Day, I'm like, all right, I gotta hurry up and I gotta go to the gym and I gotta start my diet and I gotta do this and I gotta do that and meditate. And,
we went and saw the sunrise on New Year's Day, and that was beautiful.
That is beautiful. But I do like New Year's Eve. But as Latinos, we have a lot of weird, funny traditions.
Yes.
Like eating the 12 grapes.
Yes, the 12 grapes.
One for every month.
Yep.
That's good luck.
Oh my God, the luggage.
The luggage. Walking around with the suitcase around the house or around the block to go traveling that year. The color of your underwear. Yellow for good luck. Red for love.
You guys, the luggage kills me. Don't skirt over that. A bunch of people around me growing up would do the luggage, and it was something that they had to do, and they swore that it was
there like a time? Or just you have to do it on New Year's Eve?
No, it has to be on New Year's Eve. But
or New Year's Day?
No, it has to be like right after New Year's happens, right? I have to ask Mari. She probably has her New Year's luggage ready to go.
No, and
polishing it off already.
And like my question is the luggage packed or is it empty?
No, it's empty.
Oh, okay.
Because I think you're supposed to be like inviting
the traveling,
and
like, isn't it more accurate if like you're like got my clothes ready to go?
You know what? Maybe really we need to talk to the Superstition Council.
Some people hold silver at midnight, so when the clock strikes 12, you're already starting the new year, like holding on to your riches. People burn effigies, like symbols of what the old year represented, all over the world. Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Mexico.
I'm going to do a handstand this year to bring in the new year.
Chileans eat lentils, also for good luck. Some people hang a toy lamb outside of their house or throw a bucket of water. Cubans throw a bucket of water out the window. There's some people hide money all over the house. And, you know, it's supposed to be good luck when you find it, you know.
Yeah, because you're drunk. So then 2 days later, you're like, woo!
Or just sweeping dirt out of your house or cleaning the house before the new year begins.
Yeah.
Funny, but all great. I love all of them.
I love
them all, honestly.
I love things like that.
Me too. It just shows like even if we in other ways don't demonstrate it, or even if we deny it, human beings at the end of the day we hope for magic. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really do hope for magic.
We're dreamers.
We are such dreamers, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's cute that we walk around with empty luggages and eat grapes at midnight.
I know, it's
wear
exciting.
Yellow underwear. Yeah, it's cute of us.
The funny thing is that like animals and other things in nature probably laugh at us. Like,
I think I would do.
What are these people doing? They're like.
Meanwhile, all days are the same days for them. Who knows? What if they're having their own ceremonies in the dark that we don't even know about?
Nah, they know shit we don't.
I believe that too. Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Launching.